Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are you doing today on this Tuesday?
Lots to talk about tonight.
Trade deadline.
Yep.
2.5 hours ago it ended. A lot of moves. A lot of crazy moves.
Yeah.
Big time names got moved. We're going to break it all down. We got a lot to talk about. Also, week 9, the halfway point is officially over. We're now down to the midway point and beyond of the NFL season. So a lot of moves needed to be made. A lot of moves that could have been made. There were rumors out there. Debo or Von Miller to the Bills. That was a name that got thrown out there.
Von Miller?
Potentially. It never happened.
Where is he playing now?
He got Washington. And also, apparently the Chiefs offered Breece Hall. The Chiefs offered a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall, but the Jets were firm on a 3rd-rounder. Thank you, Jets, for being firm on that 3rd-round pick. Breece Hall to the Chiefs would have been very annoying to watch as an NFL fan. Maybe not for a Chiefs fan, though. But yeah, let's get into the biggest news, I think, of them all, which is superstar, multi-time All-Pro cornerback Sauce Gardner did get traded to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks. And also A.D. Mitchell. It was an absurd trade for a superstar player. I will say this: the Jets admitted they weren't expecting Sauce Gardner to go. But if Chris Ballard stepped up and gave that offer, it was a can't refuse offer. And Chris Ballard actually talked about trading for Sauce Gardner, and this was his quote. Having the opportunity to acquire a talented player like Sauce Gardner was one we did not want to pass on. He was a player that we scouted heavily coming out of college, and there's a reason he was the 4th overall pick. Sauce is a proven cornerback. His skill and competitive nature will elevate everyone's play on the defensive unit. We're thrilled he's a Colt. So, my question to you is, ultimately, what's your reaction to this massive blockbuster trade from the Jets to the Colts?
Well, the Jets trade Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks and Adonai Mitchell. I think that's an A+ for the Jets. I think it's about a D, best I can come up with for the Colts. The Colts get the Jets get 2 first-round picks and Mitchell, who was a 2nd-round selection when he played, and only a couple of years ago, and he had a very good year last year. The Colts traded Mitchell because of his Week 4 performance, I think, that cost them a win. And it was an emotional reaction, which I don't think is the right way to play it. I think, they've been throwing in the ball once in games since then. He's been done nothing. And they have a good wide receiver core, so I guess maybe they can part with him, and it's no big deal to them. But I think he's a quality guy. He could be a nice compliment to Wilson. And when Wilson gets back, and right now their wide receiver core is banged up, so having him come in, rested, he's hardly played. He's healthy, so I think that was a nice throw-in. I think that will, down the road, that'll be looked at as one of the key pieces of this trade. I think it was way too much to pay to get Gardner. 2 first-round picks, and he has a huge contract. his performance also has declined since he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year 4 years ago and All-Pro in his first 2 years. He hasn't been that since then. Colts take on an enormous contract that will cost them about a little over $70 million through 2028. Maybe Gardner is a difference maker for the Colts, but the price is enormous to find out, I think. And his contract hurts their cap space when they need to lock up a quarterback for next year and beyond.
Well, I actually completely disagree with you. If we're talking about it, we're getting, or the Colts are getting a guy that hasn't allowed 2 completions to a receiver all season, has locked up cornerbacks at a 52%, has locked up receivers, at a 52% rate, highest in the NFL, 20-plus targets. So I think what they're getting is they're getting another lockdown receiver. And coming off of the Steelers game where their offensive line completely crapped the bed, Daniel Jones was getting abused in the backfield, they needed a guy to stop the defense because their passing defense is by far the worst thing on their team. It's not their passing game. It's not their running offense. It's not their rushing defense, which, by the way, is 4th in the NFL. It's their passing defense, which is bottom 8 in the NFL right now. Sauce has been incredible, and we look at it. You talk about that crazy contract, $25 million in 2026, $25.5 million in 2026, $24.95 million in 2027, and $20.2 million in 2028. Are we sure that the next highest paid cornerback is not going to obliterate those numbers on an average annual value? I do. And you're getting a defensive rookie of the year. You're getting a 2-time All-Pro cornerback. You're getting a multi-time Pro Bowl. I mean, Sauce Gardner, add Travarius Ward, add a lot of the guys on the defensive end of the Colts team, which they desperately need in pass defense. That's exactly what you want to do. And yes, you gave up 2 first-round picks, but let's take a look at some of the players they got in later rounds. Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd round. Pittman in the 2nd round. Alec Pierce in the 2nd round. Josh Downs in the 3rd round. Raymond, their offensive lineman. That's, the offensive line's incredible this year besides this past game. Raymond, 3rd round pick. Nick Cross, great defender this year, 3rd round pick. Grover Stewart, 4th round pick. I think they're going to be fine because Chris Ballard has been a very good GM for them. And when it comes to the Jets, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Right now, all they have is just numbers. Yeah, they have X amount of first-round picks. We have no idea if their new GM is going to draft properly and, acquire players that are going to be of equal or similar value to the players they let up. You also lost Quinnen Williams, which we're going to talk about in the next topic here. But as it currently stands this season, yes, Sauce Gardner's not having a defensive player of the year caliber year, but we have to realize that this Jets defense in its entirety hasn't been good whatsoever. They've been terrible.
Well, they've been better the last few weeks.
If we're saying that they're, a top 5 defense or whatever, that's just a lie. And I think I have some numbers here. Let's take a look at some of their matchups that they're playing against, because if you look at the wide receivers they're going to be versing, Drake London, Rashee Rice, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, JSN. These are all top-tier true wide receiver ones.
Yeah.
And so you're going to need help in the passing defense game in order to keep up with some of these offenses. And if you have a Sauce Gardner who has not allowed more than 2 receptions on a receiver this entire season, well, it's going to limit the effectiveness of some of these great defenders. I mean, we saw Christian Gonzalez lock up Drake London. Now, he did have 3 touchdown catches, but ultimately, he had, 2 or 3 pass breakups as well. And the only big-time touchdown catches were on Carlton Davis, who's having a terrible year, and Marcus Jones, who can't guard anybody. Yeah, he had a couple nice games here and there, but ultimately, he's getting cooked every single time you see a receiver.
Yeah, he's too short.
Exactly.
I mean, when he goes up against a 6'4" guy,
that's what I've been saying. They just
throw it high. And he can't do anything about it.
He's been the most lockdown corner in the NFL this season.
I think it's an A+ for the Jets. The Jets' first-round pick in 2026 from the Colts may not be that high, given that the Colts are probably going to make the playoffs, and they'll be down the list of ways. But that might not be true in 2027. It could be better. And their 2 first-round picks, they shed a huge contract, giving them more cap space. They get Mitchell, who may be a good complement for Wilson, and fills a void right now with the Jets' wide receiver injuries. And the Jets need to draft a quarterback, and they'll have multiple first-round picks in 2026 to get that done. Well, I think it was a good move for the Jets. Well, no, you think it's an A for the Colts?
I don't think it's an A.
What do you think it is?
I'll give it a B+.
And what would you give the Jets? Greg?
Again, it's a big question mark. Just based on face value, I'll give them the same grade. I'll give them an A- just because of the fact they got 2 first-round picks plus an okay receiver in A.D. Mitchell. I thought A.D. Mitchell is a great depth piece. Is he a wide receiver too? No. And he makes some bad decisions, like fumbling out of the back of the end zone, and then on a 53-yard rushing touchdown, you hold. And that negates it, and you essentially lose in the game against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, when it comes to the Colts, they didn't really need A.D. Mitchell. They have Alec Pierce, who's come onto the scene beautifully. Josh Downs. They have Ashton Doolin. They have Michael Pittman, who's been great. Also they had Tyler Warren. Mo Alley Cox is not a bad piece as a backup tight end. You have Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones has been fine, and this move just proves that they're fine with Daniel Jones being the long-term answer. Now it's a question of what are you going to do with Anthony Richardson? You're going to leave him as a backup? You drafted Riley Leonard late, so you're going to keep him as the backup. You're going to trade Richardson. Now he's currently on IR, but I think that's a decision that has to be made, and you only make these big-time moves when you think you have your starting quarterback of the future, when you think you have your franchise guy. And based on his play, everyone's given up on the Colts saying, oh, no, Daniel Jones is coming back down to earth. He had one bad game. Can we just pump the brakes a little bit here?
Plus, it wasn't so much on him as it was on the offensive line.
Well, that's what I've been telling you, and you're like, no, it's the Steelers' defense.
Well, the Steelers' defense was good. I mean, it's not like the...
right, but it's not Daniel Jones making the errors.
The Colts have played much better against other teams, their offensive line. They played poorly against the Steelers, and I think the Steelers' defense was pumped up for that game. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the recap. Sure. Because there was their 20th anniversary of their 2005 Super Bowl win, and there were 20 players from that team in the stadium, a lot of defensive players who were on their case about how poorly they played the last couple of weeks, and they were pumped.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, did Daniel Jones have one or two bad throws? Sure, but the strip sacks were all of broken down coverages, not him just fumbling the ball.
Two of the interceptions were tipped.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's my entire point. That was what I've been saying. That's why I was actually going to open the show, if these trades didn't go down, talking about the Colts and being like, let's all calm down. Colts are going to be fine.
See. Who are they playing next week?
They played the Atlanta Falcons against Drake London. Now you have Travarius Ward, and you also have Sauce Gardner going to be out there.
Is Ward going to be playing? I heard he had a concussion.
Well, he's been dealing with it. He'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. Right now, we'll see. I think he'll be fine, but obviously we'll have to...
Okay,
he's on the IR right now, so we'll see if he comes back.
We'll see if that makes a difference to get him to the Super Bowl.
But even then, Cam Bynum's been fine. Kenny Moore's been fine for them. Nick Cross has been great for him. So they have depth. They have great pieces. I want to see, Jermaine Pratt. I didn't love that pickup, but they have him regardless. Their pass rush has been fine. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense didn't really do too much. You look at the numbers and be like, okay, the Colts outplayed them.
They scored 3 touchdowns.
21 of their points are off
21
turnovers.
points off the 6 turnovers.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even if Travarius Ward doesn't play, you have Sauce Gardner out there, who has been one of their better
We'll see how he does against Drake London. If he can do better than the Patriots did.
I think he'd be fine. Well, again, Christian Gonzalez had a couple pass breakups, and, when they got hurt, Carlton Davis came in, and he was the one giving up those big-time plays. Now, let's talk about the Jets side, which they got off some of their cornerstone pieces in Sauce Gardner and also traded Quinnen Williams over to the Dallas Cowboys for another first-round pick along with a second-round pick and Mozzie Smith. So this is how the trades panned out for the Jets so far this trade deadline. From the Cowboys, defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick, which that first-round pick will be whatever is the best first-round pick, whether it's the Green Bay or whether it's Dallas's, because that first-round pick is the Micah Parsons one. And also from the Colts, A.D. Mitchell you got 2 first-round picks in 26 and 27. The Colts got Sauce Gardner. The Cowboys got defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. So I want to know overall, like or dislike these moves by New York.
I give him A. I give him A on both trades. The Quinnen Williams trade to the Cowboys for 26 second-round pick and 27 first-round pick, and the defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, who was a first-round pick. I give the Cowboys an F on this trade. The Jets an A. Why did the Cowboys trade major draft capital and a player who didn't fit that well in their system apparently, but does have potential for a 28-year-old defensive tackle on a salary-heavy contract in a season where the Cowboys have right now a 7% chance of making the playoffs? Huh? Why? Why would you do that? He's a great player. He has at least 5.5 sacks in each of his past 4 years. He's top 8 in pass rush win rate over that period of time. He had 12 sacks in 2022. That's a while ago. This season, only one sack, actually. 9.9% pass rush win rate. Run stop win rate is second in the NFL right now, which is great. And he's among the interior defenders. Dallas is 29th in EPA allowed against the pass and 30th against the run. So adding a player like him is great, but his pay will be half of the $16.75 million contract salary he has this year. 21 and three-quarters million in 26 and 25.5 million in 2027. The Jets shed Williams' salary, acquire Smith, who was a former first-round pick, and has a guaranteed $2.6 million salary for next year.
Well, I'll say this. Mozzie Smith, that move does just that's basically a no fact. And Mozzie Smith hasn't been that great so far in his NFL
he's playing
career.
in a defense that's crap.
What do you mean? He's a defensive tackle. They tried. They put him out. He wasn't great.
Their schemes are terrible. The Eberflus should be fired.
Well, first of all, this is the first year under Eberflus, and he played 5 games under Eberflus. What about the prior 2 years? One of which I believe was under Dan Quinn. What about those?
Mozzie Smith?
Yeah. 2023, did the Dallas Cowboys did they not have Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
They did. What about him?
Well, the Mozzie Smith, how did he do in those years? I didn't look back.
He did clearly. He had 1 sack. 1 sack, 13 tackles in 3 games started, 17 games played.
Well, he's going to be, the Jets.
He's a bust as a first-round pick.
He's going to be in there playing because the Jets are tanking.
Right.
They're tanking. They've given up, and they're going to hope they can get Arch Manning, I guess.
No, that's a horrible idea. Arch Manning is not a great quarterback.
Who do you think they should pick for a quarterback?
Well, right now they're probably first of all, they have Justin Fields on another 1-year deal. After this, they have him for 1 more year.
They're still going to draft a quarterback.
I don't care who they draft. It's not going to work. No matter what, it's the New York Jets. Unfortunately, right now all you have is hope. Because that's all you can have. These draft picks are nothing because you don't know if your general manager could actually draft competent players. We don't
even
know
who the general manager is going to. Who is it going to be? Is it? Who's the guy?
They do have a general manager.
Which guy?
Muji, I think his name is.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce his name. Right, but we don't know exactly. We don't know if these we've seen several GMs absolutely blow on draft picks. So right now, it's great to have all these first-round picks and the second-round picks to try to acquire more talent. It's great to, basically have the first overall pick in this draft because based on some of the moves you made, it's a question mark of if you're going to win another game this season. So if you have no idea who you're going to draft and you have no idea if your GM could draft competent players, then all these draft picks could be absolute nothing.
Well, you got to think that generally when you draft in the first round,
Mozzie Smith was drafted 26th overall, and he has been nothing. He has 2 sacks in 39 games.
But they'll be looking at maybe the first pick. They might have the first or the second round pick.
Right, so you're probably going to get a quarterback.
So they're going to draft a quarterback.
In an offense that doesn't pass very well, that relies heavily on the run game, that your running back demanded a trade today that doesn't want to be there anymore. You have a wide receiver who's hung up, but probably also doesn't want to be there anymore. An offensive line that regressed this season, and a head coach who's a defensive coach when it comes to young quarterbacks. Generally not a recipe for success.
I think they made the right decision. They realized we're going nowhere this year. Let's build some draft capital over the next 2 years and see if we can improve our team. It's kind of it's a reset, and I think that makes a lot of sense for them. The Dallas, on the other hand, I think as long as Jerry Jones is there being their GM, they're not going anywhere. Well, I don't think they're going anywhere. They let Micah Parsons go. They pick up this guy, Quinnen Williams, and he's going to make big money for them. He's older. He's 28 years old.
He's 28 years old. What are we talking? He's not 34.
His production has fallen off a little bit.
Well, because guess what? First of all, it came out that he was begging to be traded this entire season. He had an issue with Rodgers getting kicked out of New York. So he had an issue from, back in January, February, he had an issue. So he just didn't want to be there. Obviously, his production is going to go down when he doesn't want to be there, but we'll see if he has another sack. But on the Jets, this is his first season where I'm assuming he's going to get more sacks than just one this entire year. But this will be the only year with the Jets he had under 2.5 sacks. So again, we could talk. Oh, well, he's 28 years old. No, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to play for a team that can't win football games.
Okay, well,
he's also getting doubled on nearly every play too.
Well, I noticed the difference for Dallas. He's going into a defense that lacks leadership and a scheme. They have Eberflus, who's been a flop.
Well, did we not see last night's game against the Cardinals? He had 5-6 sacks.
Who?
The Dallas defense.
Yeah, but they had a stretch where they gave up 16 plays that averaged 10.5 yards per play.
Well, that's defensive back. That ain't pass rush. When you get 5 sacks, I'd be okay with that.
Well,
Plus, you're getting Demarion Overshown back. His window's open to come back.
Jacoby Brissett. He was back there looking around. He had plenty of time to throw the ball. He might have got sacked a few times, but overall, he wound up being named the starter coming out of that game because he had such a good game.
Well, you're under pressure. Jacoby Brissett went 5 and 9 for 66 yards.
Pretty
passer
good.
rating is 78.9, far below average under pressure. So, again, yeah, we could take a look at the numbers. Oh, he had X amount of passing yards. That's because Deron Bland fell down several times and went back to the Deron Bland everybody knows, not the pick six version, but the guy who gives up plays constantly. And also, where's Trevon Diggs? I have no idea. Where has he been the entire year? Banged up and not playing. I think that this Dallas defense, it's the pass coverage that's the issue. It really, because their coverage grade right now, based on PFF, is dead last. Their pass rush is above average. Actually, it's exactly average at 16. So if we take a look at what's the difference maker, and plus, you've been given a lot of running plays, because that's a big thing. We saw DeMarcado after he fumbled out of the end zone, and then Jonathan Gannon ripped on him, on the sideline, making some big-time running plays. Their run defense is obviously going to improve. Because right now, their grade is 31st. If it wasn't for Monungai of the the Chicago Bears running havoc on the Bengals run defense, the Dallas Cowboys were probably in last place there.
Yeah.
Am I saying the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs? No. But this is just another piece coming back to a getting healthier defense. And again, cornerback situation, that's the deficit of Dallas Cowboys defense. If you could just rush the passer, it helps out your cornerbacks because they could just press, disrupt the timing, and all of a sudden the quarterback has 3-4 guys in his face, and he's probably going to go down. I think the Cowboys with this move is Quinnen Williams a difference maker? 1,000% he is. Because now you have Kenny Clark, you have Williams as well. You're gonna have Overshown coming back sometime this year. You have a lot of guys that you can move around and then rush the passer. And add on top of the fact that you also have Quinnen, you have Ezeraku, who had a great game this past one. Dante Fowler, who got injured but had some big-time plays in this one. You got Logan Wilson on the cheap. I mean, I'm not saying these are difference makers where you're going to go from being, nothing to what Joe Flacco's doing with the Bengals and keeping them in the playoff race. I'm just saying that this is going to be a good move. The Jets right now, it's great on paper. You got draft capital. Draft guys to replace the guys you lost because you lost 2 cornerstones of your franchise. You need a quarterback. You need to rebuild the offensive line. You have to you have to make amends with your running back that doesn't want to be there. Your defense right now doesn't look that. It's looked good the past few weeks.
Well,
to start the season, it was terrible.
Lost 2 big pieces.
We'll see what the defense looks like against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, the point spread did shift.
Who is going to take Gardner's place?
The guy that I love, Brandon Stevens.
All right.
He's going to get cooked Actually, it's going against the Browns, so maybe not cooked, but he's not a cornerback 1. He was a cornerback 2 on the Jets and on the Ravens. He got cooked constantly. So we'll see how the Jets passing defense does. But this is what you call a tank. You trade away 2 cornerstones of your franchise. You got 1 win. You're going nowhere. There is no hope. You have no idea who even your quarterback's going to be. This is we obviously can't announce that you're tanking. This is as close to an obvious call of tanking as you could probably see.
And by the way, just before we leave this, and one more thought on the trades that happened. Sure. I mentioned the Kyle Duggar trade, that was a mistake. And lo and behold, Kyle Duggar got a game ball from Mike Tomlin for his performance on Sunday against the Colts.
But the reality is he didn't play that well. He might have gotten a game ball, but he didn't.
He got a game ball,
right? But he didn't play that well.
That was his first game in that scheme. He was there for less than a week.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
He had four tackles. He had 4 tackles.
Well,
yeah.
He
got a game ball from Mike Tomlin.
4 total tackles. He had 1 solo tackle.
He got a game ball from Mike Tomlin.
He was targeted once. He was targeted once.
I'm just telling you. I think there was a mistake to trade Kyle Duggar.
Well, first of all, he didn't do anything with the Patriots. He barely played.
Well, they wouldn't let him play.
Exactly. So you got some value for a guy that did nothing for you. Kind of like A.D. Mitchell. He was out there, showed up, did his job.
Let's hope the Patriots don't have any injuries to their secondary and their safeties.
They'll be fine. All right, coming up, though, we got to talk about some of the games that got played on Week 9. Bills, Chiefs, as well as the thriller on Sunday, Bengals, Bears. We'll talk about that right after this 30-second break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on this Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is the classic, the 10th meeting between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And again, in the regular season, for the 5th straight time, Josh Allen does take the crown from Patrick Mahomes in a 28-21 victory. Mahomes had a terrible game. Sub 50% completion percentage, 250 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, while Josh Allen had 292 total yards, 3 total touchdowns, and no turnovers. That was the big one. No picks, no nothing. He did have a few sacks on the day, but ultimately had a very clean game. The Chiefs, after, being on this long winning streak, and the Bills having the defense do really not that much, and then have a really good game against Carolina, they stepped up big in the classic between Mahomes and Allen, with Allen winning the 5th straight in the regular season. So ultimately, I want to know, were you more impressed with Buffalo's performance or more disappointed in the Kansas City Chiefs?
I would say my summary is, for the 5th straight time, the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season meeting, which means if they meet in the playoffs, they'll probably take a beating. Which the last 4 years, the Chiefs have beat them in the playoffs and lost them in the regular season. This is playing out the way it did last year. Although the Chiefs are in a much tougher spot right now than they've been in the past. Their record now at 5-4. I think they wound up being a wild card. I'm not sure. I don't see them winning the division right now, but still a lot of football to play. But Josh Allen had a great game, 23 of 26, 273 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and 2 rushing TDs. He got sacked twice. Mahomes had an off night, 15 of 34, 250 yards, no TDs, 1 interception. He never had a game. This is the first time he's ever had a game where he completed less than 50% of his passes. It was only 15 of 34. The Bills' defense pressured Mahomes. They had three sacks against him. If they meet the Bills in the playoffs, I would guess it would be in Buffalo. The Bills' defense got the best from a rookie first-round pick, Hairston, playing in only his 2nd game, and the second-year player, Bishop. 7 tackles, 4 passes defended. So maybe the Bills' defense is looking up with these younger players chipping in to help out and coming back off with Hairston coming in off an injury. The Chiefs only had 79 yards rushing. That's been a problem for them. Their running game is really nothing. And the Bills, 141. Cook a star again with 27 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Kincaid had 6 catches for 101 yards and a TD. For the Chiefs, Rice was their leading receiver with only 4 catches for 80 yards. So I'm a little worried. Well, I think the Bills bounce back. There's some question marks about them. They lost 2 straight. The teams they lost to, the Patriots, and the other team they lost to was the Falcons. And the Falcons, up and down. You can't predict what they're going to do. So this is a measuring stick for them. And Allen said as much, that beating the Chiefs was a big deal. And so maybe that propels them into a long winning streak here, and they overtake the Patriots and win the East, and maybe they have the best record in the AFC. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the Chiefs, I don't see them doing better than a wild card if they get into the playoffs at 5-4 now. I thought they were on a huge roll here, but this is a setback for them.
Well, yeah, for me, I picked the Bills in this game just based on history. Did I actually have faith in them? No, because the way they looked this season, minus the Carolina Panthers game, their defense was terrible, and I thought Mahomes would move up and down the field on them, and I was largely wrong in that regard. And the fact that it was 28-21, it was a miracle the game was even this close, because at one point it was 28-13. and it looked like it would be a Buffalo Bills blowout because Mahomes was horrible in this game. Sub 50% completion percentage, no touchdowns, one pick. The interception effectively ended the game. The Bills went all the way down the field and missed a field goal, which gave the Chiefs an opportunity. It was a very, very, very minute opportunity, but an opportunity to come back, and then, ultimately the Bills ended up winning this one. I'll give a lot of props to the Bills defense, who haven't played great all season, but this game was an incredible performance by them. A week ago, they played the Panthers, shut them down. Really, really shut them down. So is this what the Bills defense will be moving forward? We'll have to wait and see. But 79 rushing yards allowed is beautiful. They made Mahomes uncomfortable. He really didn't scramble at all. And I think that's a big part of Mahomes' game this year is Mahomes' ability. We've seen in the playoffs those back-breaking runs that really closed the game for the Chiefs in their favor. But in this one, the Bills were able to contain the pocket, keep Mahomes in the pocket, and then ultimately bring him down. Based on PFF, they had 28 pressures. You always talk about the Bills' inability to tackle. Only 5 missed tackles in this game. Pretty damn good. Bishop, like you mentioned, 4 pass breakups. He was insane. He allowed basically the same passer rating you would if you just threw it into the ground the entire time. So he had a tremendous game in this one. Harrison with the interception was a great play again that effectively ended the game for the Buffalo Bills there. But right now the Chiefs are out of playoff contention, and that's really, really interesting. They're 1 game back of the Chargers, who they lost to already to start off the year, and then 2 games behind Denver. The Chiefs are on a bye. They play them in Denver for Week 11, so we'll have to wait and see whether or not that Denver defense that was a great game. I know it was very low scoring and maybe boring to a lot of fans, but that Houston-Denver game was pretty interesting because the Denver defense was able to capitalize on some big-time moments, and even when Bo Nix wasn't able to complete a pass, still able, I know C.J. Stroud went down, but, really kill any, shot of the Texans, just creating this massive gap and, the Texans blowing them out. So we'll see what that defense could do against this Chiefs offensive line, see if they can do the same thing of containing and then seeing if they could capitalize on some big-time plays in the passing defense game. But again, this is what we normally see. Josh Allen against Mahomes in the matchups in the regular season. The last 5 times, Josh Allen has outplayed Mahomes, and it isn't even really that close. 5 wins to 0 for Mahomes, 59.3% completion percentage compared to 66.1 total yards per game. Josh Allen has him up by basically 40 yards per pass. Josh Allen by 1.6 turnovers, touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 9 turnovers for Mahomes, 14 touchdowns, 3 turnovers for Josh Allen. Passer rating is basically a 30 difference. So Josh Allen has by far outplayed Mahomes in these one-on-one matches, but you're right. I'll give you credit, and I actually had that right here in my notes. Yeah, I'll give you credit because you're exactly right.
On what? On what top?
If these teams play in the playoffs, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Bills could win out. The Bills could absolutely win out. It wouldn't matter to me. Just based on history, based on principle, I would pick the Chiefs because, again, there's the revenge factor. I'll also add on this. You had some of the Bills players in their post-game press conferences saying what they learned in the film room. You keep that under wraps and you don't say what got you the win. That's a bad idea. Because you know what the Chiefs are going to do? If Mahomes is in a certain posture, and every time he's in that posture, he runs the football, he hands it off, what are they going to do the next time they play you? They're not going to do the same thing. So you won't know anything. You won't know their tells. You won't know exactly all these hints, subtle hints that the Chiefs are giving you to allow you to capitalize on their potential mistakes. So they're going to change it up. I think that was a really dumb idea for the Bills defense to do, to be like, oh no, when he's in a certain posture, he always does this. Shut up. It's that simple. If you know that's a Mahomes tell and you learn that based on film, shut up about it. Because that's clearly a tell that you knew that not many other teams know. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to change it. They're going to change things up. And this is going to be a new Chiefs team the next time you see them, which could be in the AFC Championship game. And if it's the Chiefs, Bills in the AFC Championship game, I don't care that it's in Buffalo. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance it will happen.
I mean, we'll see. You know what I'm interested to see, though? The biggest game that I'm actually really fascinated to watch is now. It was already interesting to me anyway, because I thought it was the real true challenge, and apparently it was Pittsburgh that was the major challenge so far. It's the Colts-Chiefs game. Now that you have Sauce Gardner there, I'm curious to see if Sauce could lock up Rashee Rice, or if Jermaine Pratt or any one of these, or let's say DeForest Buckner, can he cause some wreak havoc on the interior?
Yeah, well, I think Gardner to me, Gardner kind of operated under the radar screen playing for the Jets because they're so horrible. Now he's in the prime. He's in a
winning team.
He's on a winning team, and he's in prime time. So we'll see how he does when the lights are brightest and the stakes are the highest. We'll see how he plays because he's never been in that situation before.
I've been on the Colts all year. Even before the year, we were a little bit high.
I'm a big Colts fan.
No.
I'd love to see the Colts make the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs. I'd like to see them I prefer the Patriots get to the Super Bowl. But I would like to see the Colts and the Patriots in a playoff game. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be a classic.
Wouldn't it?
That would be a classic. Yeah. You know, the Colts, are they going to complain about, some stupid... I mean, think about it. The Patriots might be fully back. That's not one of our topics, but you have Raheem Morris going over and saying, the Patriots were clapping. Oh, yeah, the safety in the back left corner talking to his cornerback was telling him to change a coverage. And that's what made the center snap the ball too early.
That's ridiculous.
That's class. Those are the classic Falcons.
That's a crybaby's
classic
response.
Falcons right there. But yeah, let's go to another game on Sunday. Not Patriots Falcons, but instead it was the Bears Bengals because this was a thriller. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Joe Flacco had a career game. Caleb Williams was pretty effective down the stretch, but it was their running game with Kyle Monangai, who had a phenomenal game in this one, taking the place of DeAndre Swift, who, unfortunately for my fantasy team, Ben Johnson says we're going to give him more snaps now. Which I don't love to hear that because I'm kind of trying to win in fantasy. I have DeAndre Swift, so I don't love to hear that. But ultimately, though, it was a 58-yard touchdown reception by Colson Loveland on a broken tackle that allowed the Chicago Bears to come back very late, no timeouts, go the length of the field essentially, and end up winning the game. They did get a pick at the very end, but that was Joe Flacco getting all 41 years into a pass that went about 45 yards. So it was unfortunate, but ultimately,
shoulder injury.
Well, yeah, and the fact that he was able to do this, and I'm sure
he's been amazing for the Bengals.
Oh, big time. Well, yeah. My question to you is overall, what was your reaction to Sunday's thriller between the Chicago Bears and the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, my summary is the Bengals' offense is clicking with Flacco under center. But their defense gave up 576 yards, and in the end, the Bears were a hell of a lot better. That's the whole 9 yards in that game. It's 576 yards the Bengals defense gave up. And Flacco, 470 yards passing, 4 TDs. He did have 2 interceptions because he gets a lot of interceptions because he throws the ball deep. Higgins, he's getting a lot of mileage out of Higgins and Chase. Lucky for the Bengals since they paid a fortune for those 2 receivers. 7 receptions for Higgins, 121 yards and 2 TDs. He played great. Chase, 6 receptions, 111 yards. And Brown, the running back, 8 for 75. Everybody. There's a long list of people who caught the ball and had multiple catches and decent yards. The Bears led 41-27 with only 4:53 left. Flacco intercepted... and Flacco was intercepted, but the Bears went 3 and out. Flacco led a scoring drive that took 32 seconds, taking it to 41-35. Then they recovered an onside kick because the Bears guy foot touched the ball. It didn't go 10 yards, but his foot touched the ball, so it became a live ball, and the Bengals recovered it. Flacco leads another scoring drive to make it 42-41 with only 49 seconds left. Okay? Williams hit Loveland. It has a couple of plays, and then they get down the field a little bit. And then Williams hit Loveland for that 58-yard score with only 23 seconds left for the 47-42 win. And Loveland bounced off a couple of players that couldn't tackle him. It was a big play. The Bengals... they're last in total defense, and they showed it. They couldn't be – nobody's going to wind up worse than them this year after that game. 576 yards allowed. You need more than just offense to win in the NFL, and that's something that the Bengals haven't learned. Ben Johnson showing, I think, that what he can do with the Bears' offense. And another comment I have about the Bengals, they should never have let Joe Burrow talk them into, dictate to them what they needed to do around, signing players and creating, a situation that he wanted, okay? Because look what it's led to. They do. They have 2 great wide receivers. And what's their record? Huh? What's their record? Now they have Joe Flacco, who's getting the mileage out of those receivers. He's able to throw the ball to them, and they're doing great. But their defense is a sieve. They're not going to win any games. They should never have let Joe Burrow talk them into doing those deals. They should have done a deal with maybe Chase and let Higgins go. And then they could have had some cap space to do something about their defense, which is just horrendous.
Wow. I think that's a very hot take from you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Joe Burrow should not have said, you know what, let's sign the best guys we've ever had since, A.J. Green, Chad Ochocinco. Let's not sign one of those. That's a spicy take. You'll see that on social media.
They couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it.
Well, they can, clearly.
No, they did it. They did it, right? Mm-hmm. But they couldn't. They really couldn't afford it because look at their team now. They have no defense at all.
Well, I'll get into that.
Hendrickson is hurt. Give him that.
Right.
But even so, you need more than one guy on defense, and they didn't do. They didn't do squat to improve their defense. They spent all their money on the 2 wide receivers, and they have spent a ton of money on Joe Burrow, who has been hurt both of the last 2 seasons. Hasn't played. How many games has he played in 2 seasons now?
I don't have. I can bring that up briefly, but
7 or 8 games in two seasons. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Not last year. Last year he had an MVP level season. He had what? So that would be 2023 he got hurt. That was that wrist injury against the Ravens, I think. Yeah, because that was Jake Browning
that's
came
right.
in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But still, he has an injury history
no, he
now.
does. He does. And to start the year, he had a lingering injury. I don't know. Would
you think
as well.
he'll even be back this year?
Oh, yeah. Well,
why bother?
Well, it depends. If they're still competing, and thank God for the Ravens' piss-poor start, thanks to Cooper Rush and Lamar going down with an injury.
I'm sorry. They're not going to win. They're not even going to be competitive in the NFC North, okay? Ooh. Because the Steelers now have a 2-game lead on the Ravens. I think it'll be between the Ravens and the Steelers, the Browns and the Bengals, and the trash heap.
Interesting. Well, I'll say this. Was there good on the Bengals? Yes, there was some good, not all bad. For instance, they started the game with a 99-yard kick return touchdown. How often do you see that? Not that often. Maybe with some of these rules, it's a little bit more common. Flacco, at 41 years old, one step into retirement, one step into a retirement home and getting his AARP check. He had his career high in passing yards, 470. Nearly 100 more than his previous career high. Higgins arguably had the catch of the year on a great Moss on the left side of the field. And also, they led a 14-point comeback at the time with no timeouts left and recovered an onside kick, as you mentioned, especially with the new rules where you have to be losing. You have to announce that you're doing it. And, so it's not it's not a surprise anymore. Everybody knows you're going to kick an onside kick. That was about it. That was about for the good. Let's talk about the bad. The Bears' opening touchdown drive, that trick play where they hand it off to DJ Moore and Williams runs out to the other side. The defense is standing there. Look at the all 22. Look at the play. Look at the replay on the broadcast. They're all standing there like, oh, wait, we're playing an NFL game. I actually have to play defense. That was bad. The second drive, the defense holds up, forces a 4th and 6. Cairo Santos misses the field goal attempt. Oh, wait, flag. Offsides, 4th and 1. They convert that, and a few plays later score a touchdown. Literally converting 7 points in favor of the Chicago Bears. Evan McPherson, the Bengals kicker, misses a 54-yard field goal. Turns out the field goal unit came onto the field after the play clock started, so they couldn't swap the QB ball for the K ball. The K ball is conditioned a little bit differently than the QB ball, which makes the K ball easier to kick. So what happened? You kick the wrong football, you miss a field goal, it comes up short. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, let alone Kyle Monangai, who had basically 200 total yards on 29 touches. Couldn't do anything about it. And Jordan Battle, let's actually bring up that. Well, first of all, this was crazy. And I'm so happy we have some accountability. Now, Zach Taylor was pissed at this, but this is Bengals running back Chase Brown in the postgame talking to reporters. This is what he had to say after the defense crumbled on him.
We just got to play complementary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's that's what we need to do. Just end the game. Like, make them get us the ball back. Let us go to 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel. Any playmaker on this team, any position, like, we're all willing to do whatever it takes to win. We just gotta finish. I think that's like what you go into this bye week thinking and kind of repeating to yourself is just finish these games, please.
Thank you. Somebody, a level of accountability. Now, for the Bengals players, the entire offense was pissed. Jamar Chase didn't say it to the press. He said it walking back from the field into the locker room. But it's absolutely true. The defense was absolutely horrific. The offense did fine. At 41 years old, Joe Flacco is making this offense alive again, which makes you wonder. Well, I will say this before I hand it off to you. I want to show the game-ending play for the Cincinnati Bengals. But the reason why this is a good thing is because it shows a move that should have been made last year. I know. Great numbers. Didn't matter to me. You go 9-8 several years, there's one person who this falls on. And after this reaction, there is one person this falls on. Zach Taylor. If you have your players doing this in the postgame, you've lost the locker room. Nobody believes in Zach Taylor. The offensive scheme, first of all, you have confidence in Jake Browning, who called himself a starting quarterback in the league after he beat a Jeff Driscoll-led Browns team in 2023. What? He throws, 6, 7, 8 interceptions, however, this year? What? You have faith in him? Huh? Then you trade for Joe Flacco, and all of a sudden the offense goes like that. You know why? You have a competent quarterback. He plays very, very well. You don't have Jake Browning, who's a backup quarterback and one of the worst backup quarterbacks in the league. So I think ultimately, this falls on Zach Taylor. He should and will be fired at the end of this year.
I think it falls on the front office as well. And there's one thing I forgot to mention.
Sure.
They have no running game either. You have Brown there with all his expletives and the beeps. He rushed for 11 carries, 37 yards. So, I don't think he should be talking too much out there. But they got no running game. They have no defense. They have two of the best wide receivers in football.
True.
And they have a quarterback who's a gutsy guy out there playing with a shoulder injury, able to get the ball to them, and that's great. And it led to a very exciting game. But they lost.
Right.
They lost the game.
They did.
They lost last week, too. Right?
They put up 38 points against the Jets. Lost.
And they lost.
By the way, the Jets offense doesn't move down the field.
They put up 42 points against the Bears. And they lost.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to show that last play because this is what pisses me off. Jordan Battle pushes Loveland, doesn't even try to tackle him.
Yeah.
Pushes him. Grab him, bring him to the ground, and you might end up drawing the clock out or making Caleb Williams sit there and wait for a half second.
Now, the Bears picked up a few people in trade.
Well, that's not a tackle. That's a push.
I know.
That's a push.
I know. That's terrible. Their defense is just horrible. We can't say it enough. But the Bears, they could make some noise now. I mean, they've won 4 in a row, 4 or 5 in a row. They've won quite a few here in a row. I think
they're
not
in a row. They lost to the Ravens last week.
Oh,
or the week before that.
Yeah.
I will say
their record now is what?
The Bears' record is
they've won
5
games, 5 and 3.
Yeah.
And they picked up some players, right, to support their defense. So I don't think they're great players, but they have injuries on defense. So they picked up some healthy players. We'll see. Maybe they're going to make some noise. Maybe they could, it's a big improvement over last year.
Yes.
That's for sure, when they lost 10 in a row.
Right. Well, by the way, great prediction by you. Can't say that enough about last year. After getting absolutely just destroyed in the comments, you actually ended up getting the record exactly right, which again is shocking. Here's something you talked about the disparity between defense and offense, right? Oh, well, you can't spend all this money on offense and not have a defense. 5 of their top 10 cap hits are defensive players. So in the top 10, it's equally split. And also, check this out. The last 4 drafts, 3 first-round picks, 4 second-round picks, and 3 third-round picks, all on defensive players.
The Bengals?
The Bengals. You know what that falls on? The general manager.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying the front office is terrible for the Bengals.
This isn't Joe Burrow. You cannot let...
No, but it is. They should not... The front office... It's the front office, okay? But they can't listen to somebody, a player, and make decisions based on what a player says. You can't do that. I think that's the wrong thing to do. They should have gone for one of those receivers, save the money to put more money into the defense, and they need to draft better.
Well,
They've got to find a way to do that. Maybe they should fire their GM. Right. Maybe they should fire the GM.
I don't know if you could do that necessarily.
Who is their GM?
Well, first of all, I think they've 4 scouts. How do you not have scouts, like a big list of scouts here?
Well, that's why their draft picks have all been crap, huh?
Well, first of all, I would say the director of player personnel, Duke Tobin, he's been terrible. He's been absolutely terrible. Mike Brown, the owner, doesn't spend money. That's another thing. They don't spend money. Joe Burrow had to force their hand on this one.
If you want to win, let me tell you something. This is not rocket science. You want to win in the NFL.
Apparently it is.
You want to win in the NFL, you got to be at least decent in all 3 phases of the game. You can't be great in one little segment of it with great wide receivers and a quarterback that can get the ball. That's all. That's one piece of the puzzle. You got to have a running game. You got to have a defensive line. You got to have good linebackers. You got to have safeties that can play. You can't go out there and score 42 points and give up 47. You're going to lose every time, right?
Well, that's kind of what happened last year.
Who do they have left?
Their remaining schedule wraps up with this. They have a bye week right now at Pittsburgh.
They lose that.
Versus New England.
They lose that.
At Baltimore.
They'll lose that.
Okay, now we get into whether or not Joe Burrow's coming back.
I would if they lose those 3 games. How many games have they won? 3.
They've won 3.
3. So
against against the Steelers.
They're 3-5, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be 3-8.
Well,
they'll be 3-8. Okay, when Burrow's ready to come back, he shouldn't come back.
Well, here's the interesting thing.
They should let him come back and get hurt again.
Pittsburgh with Joe Flacco, so I think with Joe Flacco, there's a shot. Now the defense needs to be at least at a college level defense.
Pittsburgh's defense is
at least at a
up.
college level.
They got the message from the 2005 championship team.
I don't know about
said,
that.
"You guys, patsies,
I don't know about
you got to get out there and play," and they did. They have the highest paid defense in the league.
And they played like crap this season.
Not last week. Not against the Colts, who have a very good offensive line.
Well, apparently, Amarius Mims could go one-on-one with T.J. Watt and do a pretty damn good job. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that this is what all I said about Joe Burrow. He doesn't need a top 10 defense. Competency. They're not competent.
He needs better than the last defense in the league, who is far down.
That's why I said
now.
Competency.
There's no way anybody will be worse than them this year.
True.
There's no way.
By the way, they're on pace for the most points given up.
576 yards. That's 2 games worth of yards given up in one game.
Basically, yeah.
2 games.
Well, I'll say this right now. They're on pace for the most points allowed in NFL history.
Okay.
Which, by the way, was broken last year by the Panthers. Just going to throw that out. Like 547, I think, points allowed. Yeah. So they're terrible. Absolutely terrible on defense. But by the way, just to wrap up the year, at Pittsburgh, loss. New England, loss. At Baltimore, loss. At Buffalo, loss. Versus that stretch just got, going to the season like maybe. At Steelers versus New England, at Baltimore, at Buffalo versus Baltimore. That's 5 straight losses potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Then at Miami, I'm giving them that win. Miami can't do anything. At versus Arizona, that's a win. And then versus Cleveland, last game of the year. I'll give them a win. I think there's 3 more wins. They go 6-11. Zach Taylor's going to get fired.
I would let Flacco play out the year. I'd leave Burrow. I don't know. We don't know what kind of shape he's in right now. I mean, how is he doing? Is he recovering?
Especially if you're going up against a Baltimore or a Buffalo. 100%.
How's his toe?
I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't know. I would say at Miami is a fine job. Put him in there, but definitely not against Baltimore, Buffalo, or Baltimore.
I wouldn't let him come back against Buffalo his first game back.
Right, I wouldn't.
He'll get trampled.
Right. So don't do it against a Baltimore. Don't do it against a Buffalo. Do it in a Miami, whose pass rush is non-existent.
I mean, he's going to be begging
Phillips
to get back in there, and since he kind of runs the team, I guess they'll let him come back, right?
Well, it seems to me like they don't really have a direction. So at least Joe Burrow's stepping up and saying, you know what? This is what we have to do.
Okay, well, what they had to do, they did, and it turns out to be a disaster.
I think they just need competent coaching. They just need coaching.
Okay.
Zach Taylor's not a good coach. He's lost the locker room. If your players are basically having a mutiny inside their own locker room publicly to about the defense, Jamar Chase, kept a tight lip when he was speaking to the media, but coming out of the field, he's like, just one stop. Your defense is terrible. Nobody likes each other, clearly. Offense versus defense, that's what it is. Normally, that's amongst 2 teams, not on the same team, offense versus defense. I think this is just a really bad spot for the Bengals to be in. The Bears play great. They should have lost this game based on just the amount of bad. 4th and 6. You have an offsides. The 4 plays later, they score a touchdown.
Lucky for us. We were going to lose on the
pick.
We're going to get the loss and lose on the point spread. We wound up winning on both.
So yeah, we'll take our wins, but just on an NFL standpoint of the amount of talent, it's wasted talent. That's what it is. It's completely wasted talent. And people are like, "Oh, Joe Flacco, is Joe Burrow a system quarterback?" No. Just because Joe Flacco's it's just because he has competency at the quarterback position.
I have a lot more. Joe Flacco and me, I have a lot of respect for the guy.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he could have said, my shoulder's banged up. I'm 40 years old. I'm sitting this one out.
Hell yeah.
He wanted to be out there. And he said, I'm having fun. I love it. I love to play. He'll have a job next year for sure. He wants to keep playing. Why not?
I tell you, at what,
as long
40
as
plus years old at a career high.
The offensive line for the Bengals have given him enough time to throw the ball.
Right.
So that's one plus. So he's just airing it out to Chase and Higgins. The problem is, they score 42 points. That's fantastic. They gave up 47.
Well, what's interesting is
last week, how much did they give up? How many paid? 38.
Oh, no, they gave up 39.
They gave up 39. They scored 38.
Yeah.
Those are generally scores that are going to win you every game.
If you score 38 points, the likelihood that you're winning a game is probably in the 90%.
Yeah.
I'll also say this. Joe Flacco plays very loose. It really seems like he's playing with nothing to lose. Some of the throws he's making into double, triple coverage just because has the arm talent. It's getting there. He has great receivers. He has a lot of trust in his receivers, so it allows him to play loose.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose.
He was playing with the Browns. He was doing the exact same thing, except he's playing for the Cleveland Browns. So that's where you get the 2 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Look at him now and say, what the hell? What did we do wrong?
Kevin Stefanski was asked, and he said, not commenting on that.
I'm not commenting on that, but guess what? The reason is the Browns don't have any receivers, right? The Bengals have 2 elite wide receivers, and then
Savage caught the should have been game-winning touchdown at the very end of that game.
Oh.
It's an unfortunate thing because they're doing it to themselves. That's the thing. You score 42 points against a team that isn't that great. How many times are you going to win that game?
Yeah.
Except if you're Cincinnati, which is 0 for 1.
Caleb Williams came out there and engineered the game-winning drive.
Well, first, I want to bring up that play. It should have been a tackle. Jordan Battle pushes him.
I know.
Boom.
2 players right there, and they couldn't tackle the guy.
And Colson Loveland.
They still might have lost. They still might have lost on a field goal, right? True. I mean, they were probably going to lose.
Cairo Santos is all over the place.
My guess is even if he hadn't scored there, they still were going to lose.
Because Cairo Santos was their kicker, and he couldn't hit anything. He missed a field goal, but he got brought back because of an offsides on the Bengals. They went for it on 4th and 1, scored a touchdown a few plays later. He missed a kick. It might have gotten tipped. Missed a kick earlier on in the game. And even the Bengals were like, oh, yeah, if we tackled him there, he probably wasn't going to hit a field goal anyway. You lost. Who cares? That's a what-if question. All right, we're going to take another 30-second break, but coming up, we have your Week 9 report. We're going to break down every single game on Sunday minus the games we talked about, so make sure you stay tuned for that right after this 30-second break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
All right, welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is your weekly report every single week on Tuesday, generally throughout this NFL season. You have done a weekly report where you give your key takeaways and you headline every single game on Sunday. So let's begin with the first one, which is the Chargers at the Titans.
Oh, you got me out of order here.
We'll do whatever one you want.
Okay, Broncos at Texans.
I got to go. Oh, this is going to be terrible. Let's go with that.
Here we go. Broncos come back again and win. Broncos 18, Texans 15. Knicks and Broncos do it again with a last-second field goal. At 3-5, it sure looks like the Texans aren't going to the Super Bowl.
You want me to come in and talk?
The Broncos find a way to win at the end again. They improved to 4-0 in the games they've trailed in the fourth quarter. 4 of their wins are by less than 4 points. Sean Payton said we did just enough things to come out here with a win. Knicks 25-yard scramble got them in field goal range with less than a minute to go. Broncos beat the Texans defense, winning ugly. Stroud knocked out of the game in the first quarter with a concussion. Texans scoring limited to 5 field goals. Houston 0 for 3 in the red zone, 3 for 17 on third down. Had first down on the 1 and couldn't score, and then the Broncos took it 99 yards for a touchdown. How demoralizing is that? Knicks 18 for 37, 173, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Dobbins 15 carries for 61 yards. I personally think the Broncos are a complete team. Knicks is playing much better. They have a great defense. Their offense is very capable. They're resilient. They have the ability to come back. They've won all these games in the last minute, so they know they're never out of a game. I really like the Broncos to win the division.
Oh, yeah, and I think they have their best shot at doing it. I will say, though, Bo Nix going, was he 1 for 6 with an interception or something like that? Yeah, that's a rough start. But, yeah, this defense kept him in this game because it was – if you go 1 for 6 with a pick and only 3 passing yards to open up the game in the first quarter, what's the likelihood you're going to get blown out? Very high. But thank God to this defense that really kept him in this game. And yes, losing C.J. Stroud was big, I would say. Davis Mills scared me on a few plays, but ultimately the defense came up big, and that's what kept him in. And I do think no matter how badly Bo Nix plays, if their defense, and by the way, without Patrick Surtain, can do this, they have a shot at winning this division. They have a shot to continue this massive winning streak because Bo Nix didn't play particularly well. Completion percentage is terrible. The yardage wasn't there. You're playing against the best defense in the NFL. The Houston Texans defense is incredibly good this year. Mm-hmm. They've been dominant the entire year. Fewest points allowed all season. It's been utterly incredible. What I want to see is Bo Nix run more. Several opportunities. Bo Nix has the legs. He has the athletic ability. I want him to run more. And you know what? That would counteract his lack of completing passes if he just runs the football more. So ultimately, I think a great win for the Broncos. They continue their streak. But also with the Chiefs on, what was their hot streak, you got to keep winning games. Otherwise, you're going to fall back in the AFC West. So big time win.
49ers Giants.
That one. There we go.
Okay, so McCaffrey's too much for the Giants. 49ers 34, Giants 24. McCaffrey was a beast with 173 yards from scrimmage, which gave the Giants defense a very bad image. Now, the 49ers rushed the ball 39 times for 159 yards. A week after, they only ran it 10 times, which was the lowest in franchise history. What's that say about the Giants' defense? Not much. Another good day for Mac Jones, completing his first 14 passes and winding up 19 to 24, 235 yards and 2 TDs. How is Brock Purdy's toe? Will it ever heal? I'm not so sure. McCaffrey's 16th game with a rushing and passing receiving TD, setting the record previously held by Marshall Faulk. The Giants now 2-7. Dart played well, 24-33, 191 and 2 TDs. Drops that ended drives. Defense has given up 33 points 3 games in a row, all losses. The plane flew over the stadium saying, Mr. Mara, enough is enough. Clean house. Dable, we're not where we need to be.
Here's my thing. You were down, 2 or 3 of your starting cornerbacks. This game was lost before it started. Illuminor was out for this game. So you're starting Embu, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. At tackle, he's terrible. So this game was over before it started. Jackson Dart played arguably his best game when it comes to just completing passes and moving the ball down the field. People are complaining about that Darius Slayton drop in the end zone. It was a beautifully thrown ball. Can we give credit where credit's due? The defender just broke up that pass. It wasn't necessarily Darius Slayton's fault. It wasn't a bad drop. It was a great play by the defense. So let's give credit where credit's due. The 49ers depleted defense, stepped up when it mattered the most. McCaffrey had, 33 touches in this game? And did the exact opposite of what he did against the Texans. Texans shut him down. And that's really the recipe to beat this team is shut down McCaffrey because Mac Jones is in the backfield.
I just wonder whether McCaffrey can keep this up. I
do not want him 30-plus touches a game. That's how you wear him down.
That's too much. And he He couldn't even play last year, right, because of his legs.
Yeah, he had what? He had
something wrong with his legs.
I forget the name of it.
That's pretty bad for a running back when you got something wrong with both legs.
Yeah. Well, Mac Jones, he started 14 of 14 in the game too, so he was dinking and dinking and dunking all his way to victory.
I don't think they're bringing Brock Purdy back anytime soon.
Well, Kyle Shanahan made it clear that this is Brock's team. But also, I'll say Jonathan Gannon also said Kyler Murray, once he's healthy, will be the starter. And all of a sudden, he's now going to miss 4 to 8 weeks with the same injury that he was supposed to be back for right after the bye.
Yeah.
I could say that a soft bench.
We'll see if Brissett has some bad games here coming up. That Murray will get healthy quickly, I think. Yeah.
Hey, all I'll say is Mac Jones is playing at a very high level, so I'll give a lot of props to him.
Anything else you want to say about the San Francisco and New York game?
Don't fire Daboll. Shane Bowen is the problem. Fire the defensive coordinator that just gave up 34 points and 33 to the Denver Broncos a couple weeks ago. Here's the thing. Here's why you don't fire Daboll. What's working? Jackson Dart. Fire the side of the ball that is terrible.
Well,
do
you
defense.
think that the Giants ought to do what the Jets did and tank? Just tank?
I mean, again,
why not?
I don't know if you have.
They only have 2 games. They only won 2 games.
I don't know if you have.
They should go for another big draft. Try to get another couple of good players. They got Dart and.
Well, here's the issue: they spent so much to get Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. They have so many guys they already.
Well, then they got to get rid of the defensive coordinator. I agree with you.
Because again, the offense is working. Jackson Dart looks like a franchise guy. We saw what Russell Wilson looked like. There's a reason why fans boo him if he steps foot onto the field.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart is the guy.
Okay.
What's the next one?
Colts Steelers.
Was that? Is that an earlier one? There we go.
Here we go. Colts 20, Steelers 27. I was disappointed in this one. On the 20th anniversary of the Steelers' 5th Super Bowl, with those players in the stands, the Steelers' defense had 6 turnovers, which was truly grand. The Steelers turned 6 turnovers into 3 TDs, which was the difference in this game. It was only a touchdown difference. So Jones, 3 picks, had 2 fumbles, and was sacked 5 times. Taylor held to only 45 yards on 14 carries. What happened to the offensive line for the Colts? They were just outplayed by the Steelers' defense. Jones he had 342 yards passing, but the turnovers beat the Colts for sure. The Steelers have the highest paid defense in the league. Were terrible in losses to the Bengals and Green Bay. They redeemed themselves. The offense capitalized on the turnovers. Rodgers, 25 of 35, 203 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Warren, 16 carries, only 31 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Austin, 5 receptions, 56 yards, and Washington, 4 for 43. So Steelers have a 2-game lead in the division right now, but I don't think it's safe by any means. I see the Ravens in the back, lurking in the shadows, and I think they're going to catch as I said last week, I see them beating the Steelers by a game at the end of the season.
Good teams have bad games. They're still good teams.
Yeah.
We see Mahomes have a bad game. They're still, number 2 in Super Bowl odds? It's okay. This is a new team with a new quarterback and a new mindset. Let's give them a little bit of a break. Yes, Daniel Jones had a bad game. His offensive line couldn't hold a piece of bread. I mean, TJ Watt getting killed he was dominant on the left side, dominant on the right. They couldn't stop anybody. Herbig had a good game. The offensive line gave up 11 pressures and a few sacks there. Let's all calm it down. The Colts are going to be fine. They just got Sauce Gardner. They're going to build up that pass defense. Sauce is going to be in a happier mood because here's what we have to realize. Think about all the players that excel after New York. Think about it. Think about all the players the Jets have had. Then when they leave New York, what they do afterwards. Quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. Think about what Rodgers looks like. Rodgers looks like pretty good. Last year.
Well, look at Brett Favre after he left the Jets. He almost made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, then he had a cross-field interception
if
that
just
cost
gone
him.
out of bounds, it would have kicked the winning field goal.
Yeah, well, it's Brett Favre, gunslinger for a reason. So let's all calm down. I'm not losing. I'm not selling any Colts stock. I'm investing for the long term. And this move, you give up 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks, plus A.D. Mitchell, which, by the way, you'd plenty of depth there, so that's not a crazy move. But 2 first-round picks, that tells you that they think Daniel Jones is their guy. So expect Daniel Jones to sound like a $40 million deal, which he already did with the New York Giants, but $45 million probably per year for them. They're going to be just fine. Let's all calm it down. They have talent everywhere. They're going to be fine.
Okay, here we go. Packers, Panthers.
You got to give your take alert. Yeah, here we go. Got it.
Okay, so the Panthers surprised the Packers with a game-winning field goal. Panthers 16, Packers 13. The Packers continued to play down to the level of weaker competition, and this time they lost, which had not been their tradition. Dowell, 194 yards, right?
What, rushing?
No. How much did he have? 19. I'm sorry. Dowdle's 19-yard big run in the final minute set up rookie Fitzgerald's last-second 49-yard field goal for the win. The second time he's done it this year. Carolina has found a way to win games running the ball with Dowdle, 2 TDs, 130 yards rushing. Their defense is playing surprisingly well. I give their defensive coordinator a lot of credit here for the Panthers, right? They started 6 new players on the defense, and their defense was horrendous last year. It was the worst in the league, and now it's playing well, so kudos to them. They bounced back from a 49 loss to Buffalo at home. Green Bay ranked 3rd in rushing defense, couldn't stop Dowdle. Canellis took the ball and instead of deferring, meaning they had the wind at their back in the fourth quarter, which made the field goal easier. So that was a good coaching decision. Green Bay, I think, beat themselves. They had 5 red zone appearances in the first half and only 2 field goals, 2 turnovers, and the red zone fumble by Williams and an interception by Love. A missed 43-yard field goal. They could have had a short field goal, but went for it on 4th down and did not convert. So, I mean, they beat themselves. But, the Panthers now, they have a winning record. So, it's pretty interesting. I don't know. I think they're doing it right. They're not letting Bryce Young do too much. They're relying on the running game, and it's working for them. And they've got a decent defense. A great running game and a good defense, a serviceable defense, will win you games in the NFL when you have weaknesses elsewhere.
True. The Panthers are undefeated when Rico Dowdle has 15 rushes. Again, it's kind of like the Lamar and Derrick Henry. You hand the ball off to the running back, you're going to win a lot of games. And this year, they're undefeated when Rico Dowdle has 15-plus carries. They're 5-4. The Panthers are. What the hell? Nobody was expecting the Panthers to go 5-4 this year.
Yeah. With
Bryce Young coming off of an okay, and then to start the year off the way they did, and on the road doing nothing, I thought that this was a great win for them. That's why I picked the Panthers plus 13.5. I picked the Packers to win just because they're the Packers. They're better than the Panthers. The Packers, I have no idea what they are. I was talking to somebody about this. I have no idea how to gauge them. They play up one game, they play down. Their defense is great, their defense is bad. The offense is really good, the offense is terrible.
We know they play down to their competition.
But
if they play a weak team, they play terrible.
There's the thing. Now, do we think that this is a trap game? Because now they play the Eagles on Monday night. This I think, was the definition of a trap game. And by the way, Packers are favored at home against the Eagles.
I don't know. I think I'll be picking the Eagles in that game.
I think it also, you have to also think that Josh Jacobs is not having the same effective year he did last year. He's not being that dominant. Jordan Love, when it's late, he comes up a little bit small. Again, the numbers look good, but ultimately look at the film, look at the games and realize that efficiency-wise it wasn't great. Bryce Young went 11 of 20 with no touchdowns and a pick. Passer rating of 48 and 1.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. And by the way, Jordan Love should have had another interception if, I forget who dropped it, but he threw it. He brought the entire offensive defense to the left, threw it to the right. Panthers guy waiting there, and he drops it. That would have been house.
Yeah.
So he should have had 2 interceptions. It was a very weird, and I know the numbers say 273 yards. It didn't feel like that. The Panthers outplayed them thoroughly, and that's why they got the win. Yeah. So the Packers, I have no idea. They play like a Super Bowl contender, and then they play like a team that shouldn't be.
They play down to their competition. Everyone's been saying it, and they did it again.
I don't know. Rough. Very, very rough for the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, here we go. Falcons, Patriots.
I go all the way back for that one. There we go.
Okay, here we go. Pats win despite May's 2 turnovers. The Falcons 23, Patriots 24. Patriots had a comfortable lead until Drake May's 2 turnovers stunk up the joint. But they got lucky and won anyway on a missed extra point. Cardi B was at the
Cardi
game
B shout out.
with Robert Kraft. She's Stephon Diggs' girlfriend.
Yeah.
Diggs impressed her with 3 catches for 38 yards and a nice TD that was tough to get, and he managed to get in the end zone. May had an uneven performance with 2 TDs and 2 turnovers. Raheem Morris, and we talked about this already, blamed the Pats' defense for premature snap to Penix that led to an intentional grounding call, saying that the center heard the Patriots clapping when he thought it was Penix. But we found no evidence of that, right? We looked at the film. And
the back safety was clapping to the cornerback, and supposedly the center heard that.
He's way back there.
Right.
I still don't think that's the reason. Pats got the ball back, and May iced it with a 17-yard pass to Henry that allowed the clock to run out. The Falcons beat themselves in this game again with a mixed extra point and penalties, right? An inability to run the ball. I mean, they have the best, supposedly. Raheem Morris says that Bijan Robinson is the best player in the NFL. Well, he sure didn't show it against the Patriots, who have not allowed a running back to gain 50 yards against them in any game this season, which is the best in the league.
Well, I'll say this. Yeah, we can rip on it. Let's be real. Marcus Jones, again, he just got a big-time 3-year extension. That's great. Stop putting him one-on-one against receivers that are 50 feet taller than him. Drake London, 2 touchdowns on Marcus Jones. When Christian Gonzalez went down with his, supposed concussion that he says he's fine for, Carlton Davis, who has been a big disappointment for him. He was okay with the Detroit Lions last year. Big disappointment. He was the other touchdown. Christian Gonzalez in coverage, 2 catches on 6 targets, 2 passes broken up. So Gonzalez played fine. Drake London really didn't do too much against the Patriots thus far. Then you put a guy who's 5'8" on Drake London, who's 6'4". What do you think is going to happen? Lob it up to him.
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
It's like Victor Wembanyama on a point guard. Just hold the ball up.
Yeah.
He can't reach it. And then Carlton Davis was man coverage at the end zone. He scored the would have been game tying touchdown at the time. Carlton Davis just completely misread it. Drake London just went right across from him. Carlton Davis couldn't catch up. So, yeah, Drake May did have 2 turnovers, but the defense broke down late, and ultimately, they were able to get by. It was a Harvey hot hand pick. This is a very bad performance by this team in totality. He did a fine job through and through. Pass rush was all right. Don't really care about it. Michael Penix wasn't that great. Drake London just decided, let's just do my job and use my height against guys who are shorter and slower than me. So, I'm going to be on this until the day I die. Marcus Jones should not be one-on-one coverage. He's a nice gadget guy. Keep him on screens and cool plays like that. Punt returning, he's great. Stop putting him one-on-one on guys who are 6'4".
Okay, well, maybe Vrabel hears you because he said we're going to learn from winning so that we don't have to learn from losing.
That's a brilliant idea. You know how you win? Comment. Don't give, a 7-inch difference between him and the next highest guy. Please.
Yeah, and again, I think another reason the Falcons lost is they can't run the ball. Robinson,
the Patriots are one of the best
yards.
run defense. Yeah. The Patriots did exactly what their winning formula has been. Eliminate the run, allow bad quarterbacks to keep passing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. Drake May was all right. He had, and the interception, complete miscommunication. Hunter Henry dead in the route, so he went over. He should have gone up the field, which is where Drake May threw it. It was a miscommunication. The fumble, we've seen that a dozen times from Drake May. He's got to
protect the ball better.
Got to stop that.
Okay, moving right along here. Chargers Titans.
I think that's the first one. There you go.
Here we go. Chargers 27, Titans 20. With Herbert puts the team on his back and win. With Herbert throwing a pick 6, more injuries to the offensive line, and the game close in the 4th. Chargers fans were understandably frightened, but they managed to pull it out, the win against a 1-8 Titans. Right tackle injured, and Joe Alt left tackle carted off. led to Herbert being sacked 6 times. What is it with the offensive line of the Chargers? They cannot stay healthy. Despite that, he threw 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran for another. They had a 15-play, 99-yard drive that chewed up 9 minutes that led to the 27-17 lead in the fourth quarter and basically put it out of reach. The Titans beat themselves. They were stopped on the 1-yard line, after which the Chargers drove 99 yards. They had 6 penalties for 60 yards in the first half. The Titans had the pick 6 and the 67-yard punt return for a touchdown. But they still, because of all their mistakes and their inability to get the ball in there on the 1-yard line with 4 tries, that they wound up losing. The Chargers outgained them 343 yards to 206.
I think right now what sucks is obviously that Joe Alt's done for the year. I think that's the biggest one. You lose your 2 starting tackles, so what you do is you trade with the Saints for Penning. Penning hasn't been great in his career, so we'll see exactly what that does. But they needed to obviously make some moves, and we don't even know if Omarion Hampton's going to be back even soon. They think he may be back a little bit even after their late bye. So we have no idea what this team is going to look like, but Herbert does fall. He loses another offensive lineman, which is rough. His team is still so banged up. Defensively, they're still trying to figure things out. You allow 20 points for the Tennessee Titans, who aren't great. You don't really do much when it comes to, making Cam Ward look bad because he's looked terrible all season. So I think ultimately they had to win this game because of just how close the race is between them, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. You maintain that 1-game gap over the Chiefs with this one, so you needed to win this one. You did. Unfortunately, it was a 9.5-point spread, and somehow you give up a field goal to make this a 7-point game, and obviously you run the clock out. That's why I didn't cover on the Harvey hot hand on this one.
Mm-hmm. There could be 3 teams making the playoffs out of that division.
Oh, they probably will. I think they
Chargers,
will,
Chiefs, and Broncos, right?
I think that this is just a rough game for the Chargers just because of the loss of Joe Alt. But we'll see how they do moving forward. I think they'll be okay. Justin Herbert without Joe Alt, though, the numbers don't look that great, so we'll see.
Okay, here we go. Vikings-Lions.
Go through the entire thing. Here we go.
Okay, J.J. McCarthy is the difference maker. The Vikings 27, Lions 24. What a surprise. Dan Campbell said we did everything we needed to do to lose the game. With only 65 yards rushing, Detroit's Sonic and Knuckles deserve some of the blame. Campbell also said, we made every critical error to lose. I didn't have this team ready to play out of the bye. So he took the blame, but I think there's more blame to go around there. Passing game was fine. Goff, 25 of 37, 284 yards. Laporta, 97 yards. St. Brown, 97 yards. Gibbs, only 25 yards. Montgomery, only 40 yards. 10 penalties. They allowed 5 sacks. When it looked like the Vikings season might be over, losing 3 out of the last 4, McCarthy gave them a spark and new hope, which is very surprising. The way McCarthy played after the first game, I thought, hey, he's not ready to play. He just needs to stand over there and watch some more. But I guess standing over there and watching Wentz play, it gave him a spark, and he was great out there. Just like the first game, he started. He had 2 passing TDs and 1 rushing TD. He completed a critical pass on 3rd down at the end of the game to get a first down and run the clock out. He's 14 of 25, 2 touchdowns and a rushing TD. Great job, JJ. He was crying in the locker room after the game, saying how much he loves playing for the Vikings and the players. The guy is fired up, man, and we'll see if he can carry on because he had that really good game. The first he played 3 quarters terribly, and then the last quarter he looked like all pro. And then the next game he was terrible and got hurt. So I don't know. We'll see what he is like next week. If he can continue to play well, maybe the Vikings get back in it.
Well, I think that the first quarter was really good for him. I think the rest of the game, it wasn't the same. And I think that, right now you look at it, Jared Goff got pressured a lot. Nearly 43% of his dropbacks he got pressured on. And also they took away the massive part of the explosiveness of their offense. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't play nearly as well as he normally does. 9 carries for 25 yards. David Montgomery ended up being the main back in this one, which you haven't seen this season.
He only got 40 yards.
Right, and on 11 carries. So you take out Jahmyr Gibbs, who has become the number one running back. You take him out, you put David Montgomery in, who's been kind of pushed to the wayside, so you don't have the 1-2 punch combo, so you have to rely on Jared Goff, and then you add on top of the fact that the pass rush for the Vikings was getting home. It was just a weird blend of just really good play for the Vikings defensively, and I think that was the main part. The offense with J.J. McCarthy was why they won early. The defense slowly carried them the rest of the way, so I think that this was just a really good storm. Now they play, I forget who they play this week, the Lions. Whoever they are, I'm picking them big because you got embarrassed again. Oh, they play the Commanders. Marcus Mariota is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think the Commanders are done.
They're 8.5-point favorites on the road, the Lions are, in Washington.
They should be.
That's interesting there.
Okay, moving right along here. The Jaguars Raiders. Jags 30, Raiders 29. A very close game. Raiders came close, forcing overtime, but losing on a gallant 2-point attempt to steal a win was a crime. Cam Little broke the NFL record with a 68-yard field goal at the end of the first half, and his 48-yarder with 16 seconds left sent the game into overtime. Lawrence jumped into the end zone for the lead with 3:24 left in overtime. Smith led a scoring drive with a 2-yard pass to Bowers, but the pass on the 2-point play to win was batted down by the lineman. Newly acquired Tyler Lockett was wide open for the score. So it's unfortunate for the Raiders. They just can't seem to buy a win here. The Jags ended the 2-game skid to go 5-3, and they're still in the playoff hunt. The Raiders now 2-7, have lost 6 of 7. So Geno Smith a little better, 29-39, 284, 4 TDs, and one interception. Gente, again, 13 rushes, 42 yards, nothing special. Bowers back now, 12 receptions, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Lawrence, 23-34, 220 yards passing, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, but he did have the running touchdown there, jumped over the pile into the end zone in overtime. ATN, 22 rushes, 84 yards. Thomas, 3 catches for 55 yards. Washington, 8 catches for 90 yards. So the Jags win.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They even got a turnover, and that's the thing. They got a turnover, and they won. Now, I understand, you want to steal the win. Get the point. Kick the extra point. You tie. It's better than a loss, especially when you're the Las Vegas Raiders who have 2 wins. You want to get something other than an L in that column, and you ended up losing.
Yeah. Well.
And also, Julian Edelman mentioned this, and I'll double it. Of course, Pete Carroll would throw it on the goal line instead of run it with Ashton Genty or do something. No, you throw it on the 2-yard line. Reminiscent of 2014 Super Bowl, Patriots, Seahawks, you don't run it with Marshawn Lynch. How about you give it to your guy? I understand he only had 13 carries for 42 yards. You have to go 2 yards. The guy weighs, 220? Push him. Mac Jones dove in to make Christian McCaffrey get a first down in the game, and they were winning. Geno Smith, you had 4 touchdowns. Push your guy just over. Or
was Julian Edelman calling the game?
No, in the post game. He mentioned that. Yeah. But Brock Bowers made.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, Brock Bowers made Geno Smith look like a Pro Bowler again. Have 4 touchdowns. He did have another interception, but have 4 touchdowns and look that good. Brock Bowers, I feel bad for my friend who played against Brock Bowers this week, who had He had 3 touchdowns, 127 yards. Is this a sign of things to come for the Raiders? Brock Bowers being, healthier than he has been in the regular season? Maybe.
No, I'd like to see the Raiders play better. I like Pete Carroll.
We'll see. I still think Geno is not the answer for the future. And Trevor Lawrence.
Geno has nobody to throw it to. Well, now maybe Brock Bowers better.
Well, now he lost Jacoby Myers, so he lost somebody in the process. Yeah. And he went to the team that he just played against.
They got Tyler Lockett. He was a good player for Pete Carroll before.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right,
okay, here we go. Saints Rams.
Oh, the second to last one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Saints 10, the Rams 34. The Rams were in total control. The Saints had no choice but to surrender. They were no match for the. They were not much competition for the Super Bowl contender. So I really think the Rams are a Super Bowl contender for sure. Stafford throwing 4 touchdowns, 2 TDs to Adams, who is now in sync with with Stafford, and that is scary for the competition because Nakua and Adams both in sync with Stafford is lethal threat against any team. Nakua had 7 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. Adams 5 for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Rams say their goal is to follow the Dodgers and bring another championship to L.A. They may well do it. Third straight win in an impressive fashion, allowing only 224 yards to the Saints. Last 3 opponents have combined 20 points against the Rams defense. Tyler Shough, in his first start, had a tough day, I think. 15 of 24, 176 yards, 1 touchdown and interception. He was sacked a few times. Stafford, 24 of 32, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 sacks. Another prolific performance. 4 TDs for the 19th time in his career. 1,408 yards, 16 touchdowns in the past, and no interceptions in the past 5 games. He's playing great. The Rams, 75 plays to the Saints, only 51. Saints had no running game, only 57 yards. Rams had 171 yards rushing with Williams, 25 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Go Rams.
Yeah, no, Stafford has been absolutely instrumental this season. He has, 21 touchdowns, only a couple turnovers so far this year. The offensive line has done great. The running game has been very, very good. They did have some fumble issues early, but Kyren Williams has become a star. Puka Nacua being back. He came back like he never left in the first place. Devontae Adams having 2 touchdowns in this game was always also great. The defense did its job against Tyler Shough in his first ever start, and you think he played poorly. I would say, what's he got? Seriously, he's got an old running back, Rashid Shaheed, who he just lost now.
They lost.
So they're only going to get
They went
worse.
to the Seahawks.
Yeah. Chris Olave, who has an injury history, who also isn't having a great year this year. I just think, what do you expect? I don't expect that much from him, to be honest with you. I don't expect really that much. So I think the Rams, they did exactly what they had to do, get a big-time win, cover the 14.5-point spread. And the Saints, well, they're crumbling, and right now the Jets should be in the Jets should be shaking in their boots a little bit because they have a lot of teams, Titans, Saints, and then them, who all have 1 win.
Yeah.
Jets have to lose if they want to, get the first overall
They're
pick.
working hard at it. They're working hard to lose. Seahawks Commanders. Okay. Darno had 4 TDs as the Seahawks dominate the Commanders. Seahawks 38, Commanders 14. Seahawks led 31-7 at halftime and never looked back. The Commanders are toast for the rest of this season after Jaden Daniels' arm cracked. Darno 4 TDs in the first half and no incompletions in 16 attempts. 21 of 24, 330 yards and 4 TDs and 1 interception for the game. Commanders lost the 4th straight. Nick Jigba had 8 catches for 129 yards. Walker 11 carries for 42 yards for the Seahawks. Daniels 16 and 22, 153 yards, but he's probably out for the rest of the year. I don't know. Did they say what his injury is? Dislocated elbow.
Dislocated elbow. Yeah. He'll probably be back. Week 16? Basically done for the year.
Yeah, I don't think they'll let him play again. They're probably not going to win many more games. I think Deebo Samuels, what a disappointment. I mean, it's 5 catches for 41 yards, and he's really done nothing for them. He's supposed to be a superstar. And so Daniels led them in rushing with, he was second, 10 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown. I think the Commanders have a lot to be worried about.
Well, I think that, this is just a Seahawks performance that we expected. Really good defense. Sam Darnold has been great this year. JSN has been insane this year. It's between him and Jonathan Taylor for offensive player of the
Now
year.
they're getting the Shaheed guy.
Right, now you're getting Rashid Shaheed, who's a great deep ball threat. If you want a go ball, he'll give you a go ball. Also, you have Cooper Kupp, who's been, really...
He got hurt.
Right, but he's mostly been there than here. So you want him here, not there. But this is an unfortunate situation. Everyone's criticizing Dan Quinn for being like, why'd you put Jaden Daniels out there? How many quarterbacks saying, Coach, this game's over. Keep me out. Nobody's saying that. Not a soul. Besides, Anthony Richardson in the middle of a game tapping out because he's too tired. But I think that you could rip on Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn admitted fault for keeping him out there, but ultimately no. You have and this is what I said. I thought Jaden Daniels would be a great quarterback. He's too small. Now he has 3 injuries this season. He had a couple last year as well. So I think it's an unfortunate situation, but the one thing you do with a quarterback that is frail and fragile, you can do 2 things. Get the offensive line fixed so he's not going to get touched, or 2, do the Tua thing. Get the ball in under 2.5 seconds. Like that. You have to get the ball at 2.2, 2.3. It's out of your hands.
Bryce Young is small, too.
But he's not as injury prone. We see Tua, concussion issue. What is the offense? Timing. Get the ball out now. Do one single route, boom, you're done. In case of Commanders, either rebuild the offensive line or, Terry McLaurin's been hurt, but get the ball out fast. That's what you have to do in order to keep him safe.
Okay, one more game. Cardinals-Cowboys.
This is what I wrote for you.
Cardinals 27, Cowboys 17. Brissett gets first win as Cards beat down Dallas. And that's true. Brissett led the Cardinals to a win and stopped their 5-game skid. The Cowboys now 3-5-1, doubtful for a playoff bid. The Cardinals offense looked like a Super Bowl contender against the Cowboys defense, which has been horrible all year. The Cardinals defense also slowed down the Cowboys offense. Cowboys blocked a punt for a TD, but couldn't do much else. Harrison had a career high. This is his career high, Nate. 7 receptions and 96 yards. That's the best he's done in this. This is his 3rd year. Oh no, his 2nd year, right?
Yeah.
Harrison. I just mentioned that. After the blocked punt, the Cowboys gave up an average of 10.8 yards per play on the next 15 Cardinals plays. Should Brissett be the starter? Gannon answered the question today. Yes, he'll be the starter for the foreseeable future, and rightfully so.
And I've been on this for several years. Kyler Murray, you had to pay him because what are the other options? You're coming off of a terrible quarterback situation over the past couple of years, so you had the number 1 overall pick and drafted him, so you were kind of stuck. But I said this year. Jacoby Brissett has operated this offense much better than Kyler Murray did. And he get his first win. And think about it. So most of those losses, you mentioned it before, were 13 points total?
Yeah.
In the 4 losses?
The 5 losses.
The 5 losses, right. So, it's not, the offense did what it had to do. Jacoby Brissett has operated this offense at a very high level. Now, all of a sudden, Kyler Murray will miss between 4 to 8 weeks due to this toe injury. Okay. Sure.
His toe injury must be a lot like Brock Purdy's.
Sure. Well, that's the thing. Turf toe, it never really heals. Generally, it always bothers you.
I don't know what turf toe is exactly.
To be honest,
what is it?
There's different grades of it. Joe Burrow is a grade 3, which you need to get surgically fixed. So, who the hell knows? But
can't they give him some sort of shoe that prevents that? Can't they wear a cement shoe or something?
You shouldn't ask me about this. But all I know is that Jacoby Brissett has operated this offense significantly higher. And he should be the starting quarterback because if you're still trying to win games, how about you keep the guy in who's winning you those games, and that's Jacoby Brissett. Now it's a question of what do you do moving forward because Jonathan Gannon was, when Kyler Murray's healthy, he's the starter. We heard a couple weeks ago that Kyler Murray will be back for this game that just happened.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, no, he'll miss 4 to 8 weeks. Sure. Due to the toe injury. Sure.
As I said, if Brissett he doesn't play well, then Murray's toe will get better quicker.
Maybe. All right, that does wrap up this week's weekly recap. We thank you so much. Week 10 is rapidly approaching. Great games to talk about on Friday. We'll break down all of that, as well as we had a losing week. We ended the streak of winning weeks for the Harvey Hot End. It was a rough week.
No,
I'm
sorry.
mad about that. But yeah, we'll be back. I did beat you in the win-loss in the points per so I'll take my wins when they come. Harvey Hot End lost, though. But yeah, for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We've been your co-host of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Week 10. We'll break it all down. We'll be right here, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Good night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.